Hey, I'm Claire.
And I'm Janice.
And this is The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
We are breakup coaches here to help you beat your breakup,
Heal your broken heart,
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of X-Files and another episode in our series on domestic violence and healthy relationships and recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you for sticking with us. We've been really enjoying this so far and getting a lot out of it. And we're continuing today talking about healthy relationships. So
yes.
If you listened to the other episode that dropped today, you will be very relieved to listen to this episode because it's a lot lighter, much more of a feel good than that one was.
Yes.
And if you're not sure what we're listening to because you're not following the podcast,
follow us.
Follow us so you don't miss a thing, and head over to the feed because we also dropped an episode today on what unhealthy or toxic or abusive relationships look like. And gave quite a lot of detail.
A lot of detail. Yeah.
Head over and check that out.
It's such a huge topic. So I'm actually kind of glad we're doing a whole month as kind of, it is hard to talk about. Like after our last episode, we were like, whew.
When I listened to the recording, I felt like I could tell we were a little uneasy about it.
Steam at the end.
Yes.
So we're very happy to be returning to more positive, more like goal-oriented material here. We also want to share that we are coaches. We do work with people recovering from breakups, supporting you, walking with you through this process. Yes, you can totally do it by yourself, but it really does help to have someone in your corner who, first of all, talks about this all the freaking time, and is outside of your situation. And sometimes family and friends can be too close to it, or they really want the best for you and they care about you, and sometimes that can cloud their advice.
That's a good point. And not all friends and family members are breakup coaches, and so they might not be give as informed advice as we do. You will be amazed at the progress you will make after only one session, and certainly the progress that you will make over the course of the coaching package. So please be in touch with us.
There's big power in that. So
also, I just want to direct everyone to please check out the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence to see what you can do to support their work. We, as the podcast, are supporting them all month long. They have memberships. You can give a one-time donation. They have different programs and are doing wonderful and important work. So please go over there.
Yes, please do. So with that, let's jump into it, shall we?
Healthy relationships. What do they look like?
What do they look like? How do you spot one in the wild?
How do you spot one?
That's
actually a good question, because not all relationships that you think are healthy are. It's you gotta be careful what you strive for, I suppose.
Exactly. We end up talking about what you can see from the outside of a relationship when you're not in it a lot, because it comes up if your ex or something has moved on fairly quickly, and we end up talking about but what you see from the outside is not necessarily what is going on in that new relationship. You're not missing out just because.
No.
So back to it. Healthy relationships, what do they look like? There's just a few big broad topics that we'll dive into deeper, but
more than a few.
There's quite a few, but just to start it off, condense it. So appropriate space. you're able to like maintain friendships, you do solo activities, and you have some shared activities. So there's a balance there. You're not just like attached at the hip, and you're also, you know, you do have some things in common that you do together. So there's that. Compromise that doesn't impact values. This could be maybe one of you likes ice cream and the other doesn't. And so you go to the ice cream store anyways, but you do something else. It doesn't mean that you just decide you're just not going to talk about politics because you end up in like a all out brawl every time you do. So
this one has a lot of nuance when it comes to boundaries that you have with your partner. Because one thing I read said that healthy couples or couples in a healthy relationship adopt a yes attitude with one another, which is different from not having any boundaries. But it's just, you know, if your partner asks something out of you, that you will generally feel, you know, compelled to say yes, which I think is different from not having boundaries. But we're going to be talking about that in a couple weeks, so stay tuned.
Ooh, okay. Another one is listening and remembering things you say. The remembering part is very important and very impactful when it happens. You're just like, oh, thank you.
And when someone doesn't remember, it stands out too.
Yeah, because you're like, oh,
I remember.
It just went in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, obviously everyone has memory issues. So like, there are like little things, you know, if your partner just like happens to forget like the day that something is happening or something, but they don't forget that it is happening, you know, leading up to it. They're like, oh, I thought it was on Thursday, but it's on Friday. Okay. Like, you know, that's different than
you know it when
like,
you see it.
Yeah, exactly. You know it when you see it. I don't have to dive in. Okay. Shared values. So this is related to the compromise that doesn't impact values. And also it doesn't mean shared interests. Yeah, I love horses. And you know, that isn't necessarily something that's like shared with every partner I have, but like typically they remember that I love horses and they'll send me like little videos and stuff of horses and like things that they know that I'll be interested in. Anyway,
it's a really good example. That's a really good example. Like honoring your interests, but not feeling like they have to do it too. And you not feeling that they have to do it. We hear all the time from people who say that they want to meet someone with their same interests. And you know what? Your interests are yours because they're unique, because you are unique and your interests are unique. And it's just not how it works. And it's not, it doesn't necessarily make for a healthy relationship. Definitely look at our compatibility versus chemistry. Or chemistry versus compatibility issues, going more deeply into this.
Oh my God. A really big one would be like football. Because a lot of guys are into football and a lot of girls are not. But there's like, you know, you can
being excited that your partner is going to go and watch the game with his friends is a lot different from saying it's dumb or there's no point or, you know, you need to spend Sunday with me.
Exactly.
Very good example. All right, let's dive deeply into how this shows up and how it specifically looks in healthy relationships. All right, we're going to start with one of the biggest, if not the biggest one, and that is communication. We've got a great quote with some great information here. All right, communication is the lubricant in the gears of a relationship, which is a dynamic thing that is something bigger than the people involved. And this is from psychotherapist Jude Tretter-Wolf in a Bustle article. They go on, when communication breaks down, whether that is intentional, happens through lack of skill, or fear about what will happen when we open up, the relationship begins to lack the buoyancy and flow that is possible when people are clear and open with one another. It's just a matter of saying it. Does anyone listen to Sex with Emily? because she does a weekly show where people call in, and I'd say at least half of the people who call in is oh, I want to express this to my partner, or I want my partner to do this, what should I do? And her answer is always like, just say the words.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult for people, but once you can figure out how to do it, your relationship is going to get a lot better.
Yeah, because you're not in it alone to solve these problems within the relationship alone.
It does take practice, though.
Yeah.
Healthy communication. So what exactly is it? Everyone says it.
They're like, communicate, but how?
So first of all, it's open, it's honest, and it's vulnerable. And what I take from vulnerable is, I suppose, that you might feel uneasy.
Yeah.
And you do it anyway.
Yeah, you do it anyway. Like with this stuff, like you're opening, you know, especially within a relationship, like you're going to be likely struggling to talk about issues that are kind of heavy or less socially spoken about. So like sex.
Yeah, that's why Sex with Emily gets so many calls.
Exactly, because you know, like you might have one way you were raised to talk or not talk about sex, and your partner may have that too, but you know, this is the relationship to talk about it. So vulnerable comes up because you're, you know, you do have to trust that your partner is going to react in a non-judgmental way. And you know, like you're opening yourself up to like critique and like judgment and all of these things. And, you know, like, that's scary. We're not like used to doing that very often. Vulnerability. I mean, everyone's probably listened to the TED Talk by Brene Brown. I forget what it's called, but it's about vulnerability, and you should go watch it. And she's obviously like the expert on like vulnerability and shame. So that's a good place to learn things about that. And another thing is that when you are communicating with your partner, you have to assume that they're telling the truth and the whole truth. There can't be like lying by omission or things like that, because otherwise you're working with like less than the facts. You don't have the whole picture. How can you possibly make this person happy if they aren't telling you like the whole thing? You know, and that's also like risking them being upset by you telling the truth and stuff. So it's tough to be a healthy communicator. And like if you're not telling the truth and the whole truth yourself, like you're basically portraying a character to your partner, and they're dating what you portray, not the person that's actually inside.
Yeah, good point.
And also vice versa. Like if you are making assumptions about your partner, you could be getting those assumptions wrong. So we want like full truth and the whole truth, and that's obviously that trust is developed over time. We talk a lot about that. It's not just like, oh, we met and then I started you know, telling them everything about me. You know, obviously this happens over time. So so healthy communication, vulnerable, honest, open. It's also done face to face. This is huge, especially like I struggled with this a huge amount because I am a much better thinker when I'm writing it.
Well, same. So we're writers.
Exactly. So like the whole verbal processing, not my comfort zone, but that's where you get the nuance of facial expressions, tone, and you know, you're in each other's presence. So that is important.
Yes. I mean, I just want to say, if you have something to tell your partner that's sensitive, don't do it by text. It's so problematic.
And if you are a written processor, you can write it out and then come face to face, and you can use that as
I've
reference.
done that before. written it out before I knew we were going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Leave the text out. And also I want to say, don't email your partner a list of grievances or what you want to say or anything. I know we're going to probably get some pushback on it, but I don't think it's appropriate. You are kind of saying that, that person just has to sit there and listen to your side, and, write an email, but don't send it. I don't think it's healthy communication.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good.
No.
All
right, what else?
It's not judgmental. So that's kind of a thing, like what you were just saying, you may not understand why your partner feels a certain way about something, but you're not like, that's stupid, like
or something from their past. I mean, anything, just be fresh and open and accepting.
Yeah, exactly. People come as you are. All right. Arguments are about understanding each other, not winning.
Yes, it's so important.
Yeah, this is not your enemy, this is your teammate. So you want to understand each other, and for everyone to come out of it feeling better than they did going into it,
not shamed or
also
I know I've been in some arguments with partners where it's like the only thing was to get the other person to apologize, like a contest, like winning. And it should be a discussion, not a race.
It doesn't involve making assumptions, so like I was talking about earlier, it's deliberate, not impulsive.
Intentional relationships.
And it validates both partners' feelings. So
important. We will do more content on communication in the future. All right. So from our experience, so I think this is really helpful to talk about. So from our experience, healthy communication looks like, this is some things that Claire and I both put in: being able to say when you've been hurt without yelling, blaming, storming off, threatening to leave.
Yes.
Being able to take feedback when delivered lovingly.
Yes, delivery is important though.
Yes, for sure. Delivery is important. And also remember that hurting someone is not about intent, it's about impact. And so I think people just need to leave, the intent part out of it and just be open to hearing what the impact of your actions, words, etc. was.
I love that.
Accepts that everyone has faults, tries to work with you on yours, theirs, so everyone feels heard and respected. Checking
We're not
in.
Perfect.
Checking in because the other person is on your mind, not out of expectation, not to check up on them. This is something for me, just having it just be kind of fun because you love the person, not because you feel you have to or you want to keep tabs. Taking responsibility and being willing to apologize. And just like I was saying, even if they didn't mean it like that, etc., that is not what it's about when you hurt someone. Staying focused on the topic issue, not bringing up old shit or deflecting to shift the blame or focus. This is extremely common, and it's also a great sign of very undeveloped communication skills, but so many people did it. It's like, oh, well, you did this 3 months ago, or well, you always do this. No, just keep it like task or focus on the task at hand.
Yeah. And I get it. It's really hard because I do the same thing. Everything is interconnected in my mind, but I resist the urge to reference things that have happened in the past that have already been like talked over with my partner. Just because what just happened reminds me of this thing that happened all that time ago. Like, no, they are separate, even though in my mind they're related. It's just how my mind works. But so I get it. It is, if your mind works the same way, it is tough, but do it. It's tough, but resist the urge.
And that's a lot of how communication is. It's tough, but you have to do it. It's tough, but you have to learn how to do it in a healthy way. It's tough, but you're going to need to probably swallow your pride a little bit and think about the relationship as a whole, not your own ego.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that brings us to the topic of arguing healthily. Yay, you heard that right. You can do it. It is possible. It's actually a sign of a healthy relationship that you are able to disagree and discuss it, argue in a healthy and productive way. So in the Bustle article, Why Even Happy Couples Fight, they talk about how all couples fight, whether or not you see the residue of their fallouts publicly.
God, I hope you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So
this is private.
Yeah. It always reminds me of Trey Anthony talking about her sister and how her sister always said her and her husband, who've been married since like high school, they work out their shit together.
Yeah.
And if they can't handle it alone, then they get professional help. They do not involve the family or the friends. And I just thought, well done to them. That was very good.
It absolutely makes a lot of sense. And I think also you're protecting your partner. If you really love them and want to have a long-term relationship, then you don't want them to be embarrassed. You don't want to soil people's opinions of them. And you don't want to publicly humiliate them by having an argument in public. It's so cringy.
Yeah. So in fact, says the article, sidestepping disagreements can lead to decreased psychological well-being the next day. That's so crazy. An Ohio-based counselor, Mary Ann W. Mathai, I believe, who specializes in helping people deal with and heal from toxic relationships. She says, I'm more worried about my clients who say that they never argue with their partners. It signals passivity, emotions being ignored, or a lack of self in the relationship, all of which are unhealthy. Yeah. And I've definitely experienced this where, like there's probably 2 or 3 arguments over a 5-year period in one relationship. And it definitely, I think if you don't develop the skills to have a healthy argument, like you're going to struggle long term because life is hard. Yeah. And things change.
Avoidance really doesn't serve anyone. And if you're being so avoidant with your partner, it's going to spill into other relationships as well. All right. How to keep an argument healthy. First, let go of grudges. So this is partially why you don't bring up old shit, is because you should let go of it after you work it out. Don't keep the resentment. Listen more than you talk. This is hard but important. Be respectful, fight fair. Use the fight. I'd actually say argument, not fight. I think the two are a bit different. Use the argument to grow together. Yes. Focus on I statements instead of you statements. You know what? If you could do one thing, just try that for a week. If you're in a relationship, just try that for 1 week. It's one of the basics of nonviolent communication, and you will be amazed the difference it makes. Yes. Stay present. Listen to hear rather than pre-planning your response / waiting to talk. Yeah. And don't go out of your way to hurt the other person or zing them. Yeah. If you're in the heat of the moment, this can be hard, but it's not worth it, people.
It's not. Yeah. And the focus on I statements instead of you statements, like I just want to put one way you can use that is focusing on what you're feeling or how you're perceiving what happened instead of what actually happened. People are just going to be much more likely to change and be able to hear you if you're focusing on the impact of what happened rather than the character flaw in the person who did the thing. Both of you will be able to rise to the occasion a lot better if you do it that way, because you're not coming from a hurt place. Yeah. Agreed. And if you aren't
in a relationship right now, check out Nonviolent Communication. That would be, people ask us for resources all the time. Get the book,
Love
read
that
it,
book.
start to think about these things. If you are in a relationship, I've known couples to take the class or read the book together.
Yes.
So, always
that's
improve,
so cool.
people.
Yes.
So a University of Tennessee at Knoxville 2019 study called How Happy Couples Argue, Focus on Solvable Issues First, says happy couples tend to take a solution-oriented approach to conflict. And this is clear even in the topics that they choose to discuss.
So when researchers observed couples discussing marital problems, all the couples focused on issues that had clearer solutions, such as like the distribution of household labor, how to spend leisure time, things like that. And that's because rebalancing chores might not be easy, for example, but it lends itself to more concrete solutions than other issues. And it also gives momentum. So when you can solve one issue that is smaller, it gives you momentum and kind of the practice to then move on to bigger issues that might not have been solved just like right away, but through trial and through working together on the smaller stuff, you like level up your characters.
I think that the household responsibilities is a great example.
Yeah.
It's so basic. So if you can really come to resolution about that, you might have a good foundation.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. But thinking about it though, that comes down to like a lot of like how your partner sees gender roles and things
and how
like
they
that.
Respect. A lot of the other things we're gonna talk about. It's kind of a microcosm for a healthy relationship is
exactly like if you have different values in that area, you might not be able to get past that. But
you can choose if you're gonna how much respect you're going to have for each other's values. There's a lot I think that could come of these discussions.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So talk about that before you before you live together. You should talk about chores. I think so that you're not surprised.
Now let's talk about truth and honesty in relationships, in healthy relationships. So these are things such as how much do you feel comfortable self-disclosing, and what does that say about your partner and the relationship you have with this person? And yes, you might get burnt, and that is part of the risk of trusting someone. That's part of the risk of discovering if you want to trust someone.
Yeah. And we talk about this actually fairly often on our Facebook Live coaching, because, as you're getting out there again and you're meeting new people, you may have kind of that fear of getting burnt because it's happened before. And like you want to give your trust slowly. And bit by bit, but it is a decision. You do have to take that leap. You can't, like, yes, your partner should earn your trust, but that's only happens if you give them a little bit of trust to work with first. See what they do with it, give a little more. And so that's a process that happens over time. And, like these communication issues are kind of trust building activities.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you're vulnerable and you see kind of what together you guys can do with that vulnerability. So yeah,
really good example. And whether or not you trust your partner is not their responsibility completely. It's both of you earning it and giving it.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about independence in healthy relationships. This is something that I'm kind of surprised a lot of people don't consider the more serious they get, but it's an indication of how healthy and long-lasting your relationship is going to be. What does independence look like in relationships? This shows up in many ways, but these are just some very common examples. Keeping your own friends. you don't necessarily have to merge your social groups. There can be some overlap, but if you're in an independent relationship, you know, have your own friends and both people are okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. Jealousy is not out of control. I would say jealousy is dealt with.
Yeah.
You know, it's rare. I mean, yeah, look, we all get jealous. It comes up, but you know, you cope with it, you talk about it, you deal with it. Don't make it an issue. Solo activities. So you're doing your own things and you're sharing and you're talking about it when you come back together.
Yeah.
And look, do some things together.
About.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, completely. So everyone just remember, it's, you know, your interests and your outside activities are part of what make you uniquely you. It is part of what attracts people to you. It doesn't mean that you have to share that with your partner. And interests and activities change over time, just like relationships and people do. And so I don't think it should be something that you really, really look for, because, you know, 2 years from now, one of you might decide that you don't like hiking or yoga or painting. And you know, if you have a good relationship, it's not going to matter. But if you build your relationship just on the things that you do together, you know, might have some fractures in it when you decide not to do those things anymore.
Very true. Yeah. All right. Up next, respect. Yes, respect. Okay. It's something that sounds really good, obviously. And it makes a lot of sense to say you want it and you will give it in a relationship. But what does respect actually look like? So, number one, listening to each other. Important for communication.
Yes.
Not procrastinating when your partner asks you to do something. This is a big one.
Yeah.
Being understanding and forgiving when one person makes a mistake. And I'm not talking they accidentally trip and fall and like land inside someone. Like, that's not a mistake. Like
trip and fall and have sex.
I made a mistake. You know, like, it's like,
well, you know what? I think you're going to need to decide what you're willing to forgive and what you're not, bigger or small.
Yeah. Values. That comes down to your values. So you know, mistakes could be like forgetting something, things like that. I probably wouldn't say that you have to just immediately be understanding and forgiving for like the really big stuff. So building each other up instead of tearing each other down. You are not enemies, you're teammates. Build each other up. All right, make room in your life for your partner. So you have to balance independence with making this a comfortable space for your partner, and vice versa. They should do the same for you. So being encouraging and honoring of one's time with their children applicable. So
I've noticed this coming up a lot, and that, you know, people I know, people in the community are, you know, dating people who aren't really, you know, being encouraging and supporting of them, you know, spending time with their kids. And I think it's really important that you respect that if your partner has children, and even if the relationship starts to get serious, you need to let them have time with their kids, you know, away from you. Certainly, you know, be really honoring of that.
Taking an interest in the things your partner enjoys. So this doesn't mean that you have to do it there every Sunday for 12 hours and watch all of the football games, but maybe you pop in for like the last half of their favorite team's game, things like that. So
I think also it shows up with asking questions about the thing your partner is interested in, listening when they tell you about it, and just being generally curious about this person.
Yeah, exactly, because they are different than you. And yeah, being interested in the things that make you different instead of making you similar, or as well as the things that make you similar, is a really good thing. And allowing your partner to have their own individuality. So yeah, that all kind of ties in together.
Right. So now we've got kind of a whole kind of smorgasbord list of other things that show up in healthy relationships. Who is having a much funner time than the last episode? Me. In a healthy relationship, each partner has realistic expectations around what you can both offer each other and get out of the relationship. You don't expect your partner to complete you, solve your problems, keep you company constantly, make you happy, etc. This is why every time that I hear someone in our community say that they want to date because they are lonely, I say no. Because that's not what a partner is there to solve.
Yeah.
You can't expect someone to come in and do this for you, complete you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's an attitude you take into dating.
Yeah, they can add to an already full life. Another thing is they don't try to change integral things about you and vice versa. They honor outside relationships. We said this. Each person feels that they are having their emotional needs met. And everyone has different emotional needs, so you need to communicate to figure that out.
I was just going to say that you could talk about it.
You could talk about it. Boundaries, you both have them and respect them. You express appreciation for each other. Oh my God. Yes.
Really considering how you can show this person that you're glad that they are in your life. And this also, I wanted to touch on the love languages, which I wanted to mention because I personally think that this is gold in relationships. And I keep on hearing it discussed completely in kind of inappropriately or inaccurately, I think is what I want to say. So I have read multiple books by Gary Chapman who talks about the love languages. And so I do think I have a good understanding of what it means. So what it means is that you discover what is the love language that your partner responds to. And then you go out of your way to speak that to them. It does not mean what love language you want to speak. I keep on hearing people refer to it as my preferred love language to speak or to my preferred love language to use. And it's not what it is. It's not about you. It's about discovering what makes your partner tick. Exactly. And if you can do that and then go out of your way to speak their love language, I think it can do some beautiful things in a relationship. Perhaps we can do an episode on this someday. But just to refresh everyone, the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, time, and touch. And so what I really love about this is that you're in a committed relationship and you are really dedicating yourself to finding out what makes your partner tick and then saying, I want this other person to be happy and I am going to go out of my way to try and, make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of times it's used to like, oh, well, I'm really unhappy because they don't tell me they love me. And it's almost like used as like an excuse, like, oh, well, he changes your oil, and puts gas in your car and that's his love language. And so you should just be happy with it.
Right. And that's not what it is.
Yeah. It's like preferably both people should be adapting what they give to make the person receiving it feel like they're being loved and respected and all of those things. Because you can adapt what you do more easily than you can adapt what makes you feel loved, so you kind of have to like you have to change a little bit, but like the less
well, you might have to
integral
change a lot once you figure out what it is that, you know, your partner responds to. And it might not be what you know, the language you quote prefer to speak. And,
yeah.
you know,
or
but
even
that's
makes
part
sense to you.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of, you know, being in a relationship that's going to last, you know, making compromises, learning new things, learning new ways of doing things, and, you know, perhaps communicating about love languages with your partner if this is, you know, lighting you up.
Yeah.
So in the end, all of this could come down to a few simple concepts. And that is, being in a healthy relationship means being safe, being seen, feeling secure, being soothed. And that's from a Psych Central blog post that I came across as we were prepping this episode. And that's from the blog post, The 4 S's of a Healthy Relationship, which I thought really it does come down to these 4 things.
Safe, seen, secure, soothed. I love it. It's so cute.
I love it too. And we want you all to be in healthy, happy relationships with yourself and with others.
Yeah.
So we hope this helps and, you know, gives you something to think about, gets you perhaps excited about dating, perhaps makes you, you know, realize that you might want to work on a couple things before you date again. Whatever.
Yeah.
What else?
We hope this helped and was more goal-oriented and positive. And
yes, we hope this is more goal-oriented than the last episode on abusive relationships.
Hashtag relationship goals.
All right. What did you think of this episode? What have you thought about our DV awareness content so far? We would love to hear from you through the reviews. If you have liked this episode or another X-Files episode,
any of them,
we would love it if you would leave us a review on Apple.
5-star review.
Why is that? Yes, rate and review, please. Why is that? It helps other people find us. And, you know, it helps us to know that we're doing good work. So please head over there. If you do leave us a review, please hit us up on Instagram, screenshot a review, send it to us, and we're going to send you something in the mail to thank you. So that also gives you more of an opportunity to connect with us, which we know a lot of people enjoy doing.
Yes. Our love language is 5-star reviews. So please do.
please speak our love language to us.
We respond well to positive reinforcement. And we will speak to your ears very, very soon.
Thanks,
love
everyone.
you guys, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you like this episode, tag us on your Instagram story so we can connect with you.
And you can find me, Claire, on Instagram at Claire Lofthouse.
And me, Janice, on Instagram at Janice Formicella. If you'd like to join our online community, find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. When you do decide to leave, sometimes we hear that people believe that they need to really make it known to the other person how horrible they've been.
Who are we working on? Who is that for? Is it for them or is it for you? I get it. That's your revenge. That's your fuck you. That's your punch in the face as you're walking out, more or less.
Yeah.
But they don't give a shit. You're wasting your breath. It's like one last extra hard bang against the brick wall. Good for you. But it doesn't work. It never has. I've talked to tons of clients. Everyone tries it. It's pointless. If you try to end a relationship respectfully and as an adult with a toxic, childish, selfish person, is it surprising that it doesn't work out the way you're planning it to? Because they're not going to go and play the game the same way.
Yeah.
They're not going to suddenly at the end become the person you were hoping they would be.